You take my spot after the end of this game.
Game 2, Empire going up against 4 Clovers and Leprechaun. After 4CL take Game 1, we're going to see a little bit of respect. Shadow Fiend's going to be kicked out. I think that's the right decision here from Empire.
Yeah, don't give that to Pycat. He was an absolute monster in the tournament and in that game number 1 that we just saw played by 4 Clovers. It might take 4 Clovers a little bit out of their comfort zone, but I still think there are a lot of other good heroes and openings available in the pool for 4 Clovers. We'll just have to wait and see what they're going to get their hands on, given the next couple of bans, which we'll be seeing shortly. But still, let's just take a minute to appreciate the crowd. They've been awesome today, and just a lot of energy inside the arena, and we'll have to see if that's going to affect the play at all.
I'm kind of bummed out that Vega Empire not the finals, because that had the crowd with the most hype.
Even just in the group stage.
Yeah, so
roaring.
I mean, 4 Clovers, they're not from around here, so the local crowd got to appreciate the local talent. Local as much as that means, but either way, 4 Clovers still getting a little bit of appreciation from the crowd. Everyone's been super cool. Some other weird stuff going on in this event, but it won't be a proper, I guess, nerd convention without some weird stuff, right? Either way, we have ourselves a draft. IO is going to be banned out, and it is going to be Team Empire to first pick the Tusk. I don't think anyone should be really too surprised about that, though. Funnick did play it last time. It is still not going to be out of the question completely to see Empire put it on someone else. 4 Clovers, man, you have too many. You need too many first-round bans against them. Really now we got Nikwa's Darkseer again, and that opens up a whole new can of worms.
And even though he did reasonably well on the Ember Spirit, I think this is much more in his comfort zone for game number 2. And this is the other opening that 4 Clovers have been going for with massive amounts of success. Just having Pycat on a gyrocopter, a hero that benefits very greatly from having the amount of space that 4 Clovers create. And even without having a lot of space, Gyrocopter can kind of make his own, go for those rotations, set up some kills, and open up the map a little bit. This is a very stable, safe, and 4 Clovers opening.
All right, we'll see what heroes they want to grab for Bambo. I would expect to see a lot of those heroes being banned out. Tiny is still in. Wouldn't be surprised to see 4 Clovers try to go in towards that as Empire. Rotating things up a little bit, still not completely out of the norm as it is going to be. For the most part, I would expect Resolution's Queen of Pain, although we did see Havost play that hero once before at Moscow. It was okay, right? I mean, it doesn't really seem like a really, really big Havost hero, at least not as much as Resolution.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. The flexibility is still nice going into the draft, but I'd much rather see Resolution play it. The Havost hero, or the Bambo hero, the Team Empire, are going to go ahead and ban out is the Nightstalker, and the Havost hero that's going to be banned out is the Juggernaut by 4 Clovers. But also a special mention to Sexy Bambo's Magnus. I think we might be seeing that in this draft. The Darkseer Mag combo, even if 4 Clovers are super far behind, it's so terrifying to go high ground. That's the reason why Empire will ban that out.
I feel like they had almost the exact same set of heroes. I want to say going up against Vega or something like that. It was maybe MVP, I don't know. But it was that AoE game from 4 Clovers where they really switched things up, gave Bambo his Magnus, and he played it very similar to a Batrider in that he wasn't really super greedy in how often he went for those RPs. But we saw it earlier. I'm not talking about yesterday. We obviously saw it earlier today, and that was a little bit more consistent. And here we go, 4 Clovers actually going to go ahead and grab a Viper third. Maybe Nikwa not going to be playing a Darkseer?
Yeah, it looks that way. Bambo's Darkseer is very good, but it's just kind of weird after seeing this tournament where Nick was playing Darkseer nonstop to see something different. Is this a change of pace from 4 Clovers? I'm not sure if I like it. I think they probably could have left the Viper a little bit later in the pool, but you know what? It's a safe, secure hero, and the real star of the show is going to be the Gyrocopter, and we'll have to see how they're going to be able to support him. The support play throughout the entire tournament for 4 Clovers has been on point, but also from Empire. Not to take anything away from them, Dazzle is going to be the selection for their side, as Spirit Breaker will be the choice for 4 Clovers.
I mean, with the exception of the swap out of the Templar Assassin for Queen of Pain, they don't have a Gyrocopter just yet. It seems like Empire may be going for a very similar timing-based push strategy where they get a couple of items up. Queen of Pain doesn't really need items as much as she needs levels, so get that up for her. And then, with the sustain that you have, as much as you do have, go for that early game play. It is going to be very difficult, though, going to 4 Clovers, who now grab up the Spirit Breaker, played by EGM, I would expect, but I would expect, the real threat, not necessarily in the Spirit Breaker himself, but in that I would expect Spirit Breaker, Darkseer dual lane, which was, it is something we've seen just trounce lanes before. Empire, their supports, Dazzle, not really great up against that. Tusk is perhaps a little bit better, but even then is not fantastic. So this dual lane has the potential to just rock Empire really hard.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they're well equipped to deal with it. Seeing 4 Clovers picked, you know what they're trying to do. Just get the Viper early, farm. Gyrocopter is going to join a couple of fights, but it really is going to be in the mid game where they hit their stride once the Darkseer has his gold up and running. Maybe go for the blink on the Darkseer, mech on the Viper, or vice versa. Not necessarily the blink on the Viper, but something else in replacement of that mechanism. But still, the fighting potential is there. For Empire, I think they're a little bit more open-ended, even though they do have a very specific timing window where the Tusken Queen of Pain's burst potential is very high. They could shake things up, and that's one of the reasons why they're taking a lot of reserve time here, thinking out their options.
Not a fan of the Blink Viper Strike initiation style. Dude,
you know what?
Gotta land that Viper Strike. How are you gonna kill Queen of Pain? Once she blinks away from you,
you blink after her.
Exactly. There you go. we're forging the meta over here, guys. It's definitely what 4 Clovers are going to be doing with this Viper. But yeah, for Empire, I think it is a little bit of a question of what they want to do with this Tusk. They're going to grab a Winter Wyvern. I feel like this happened before in a certain series with 4 Clovers and Vega, where they had the Dazzle, had the Winter Wyvern, then just didn't have enough early game fighting. The last hero, I expect to be Havost's hero, needs to be someone who actually can get online super quickly. And Empire have been known to run Luna in the past. That maybe that's not the best pick here up against what 4 Clovers are running, but they need someone not Slark, really, who just got smashed when Vega played it.
This is a really hard selection for Havost. I don't see a hero that comes immediately to mind that's going to fill the role of the Gyrocopter or the Juggernaut, which I think are the ones that you'd want to put Havost on in this situation. Do you think Empire are going to go for something completely off the wall here?
I mean, the Huskar is already banned out, so how off the wall can they get? Maybe a Tiny or something like that? You get the Avalanche Toss combo. So it's awkward having a melee hero up against what you would expect to be a Spiritbreaker Darkseer dual lane. Things get really sticky there, but yeah, I don't know. The Empire supports, they can keep someone alive for a hell of a long time, but even Embrace in this game, not really that good. It protects you up against Viper, I guess, and Gyrocopter down the line, but still, Gyrocopter's magic damage is insane. Viper's poison attack does do quite a bit, especially his ultimate. And then you have Darkseer with, I assume to be double Ion Shells on the Spiritbreaker and himself. Embrace can only do so much. As 4 Clovers last pick Dimensional Spirit, most likely going to hand that one to Saxa, give EGM that cow, and I mean, it's we saw amazing display from Saxa in the last game, and I don't see any reason why it's going to be any worse this time.
Empire is still very single target focused with the Winter's Curse, with the Tusk's initiation. Even though they have a good amount of AoE damage to throw into the mix, their control is not nearly as impressive as something like a Vacuum from the Darkseer. They are lacking that kind of setup tool for them, and anything larger than just a 2v2 situation, I want to say. It's going to be very difficult for Empire to pull this one all together with one hero pick. The other option, of course, is to throw a Vost on the Queen of Pain and pick something different for Resolution, but do you really want to do that when Resolution is going to be going up against a Viper matchup?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Resolution play a mean Invoker earlier, and that does have some merits up against the likes of Spiritbreaker, but your matchup's going to be a little jank. Here we go, the Wolf.
All right.
That is, first of all, the first one we've seen. There's that in the entire tournament. I want to say, even going back to the qualifiers, I haven't seen much Lycan, maybe 1 or 2 games, something like that. But outside of that, Lycan is here that actually enables Winter Wyvern Dazzle, much like the Luna, even though he himself is going to be in a kind of clunky position where he's going up against Ion Shells and such. Being able to give these range supports a little bit extra damage may just be enough. Yet, even with this Lycan pick, I'm concerned that Team Empire will not have enough once 4 Clovers get a mechanism up and actually decide to group up around this first call down.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them, but also you get the access to the Wolves plus the Heal Bomb combo from the Dazzle, which we've seen a lot in this tournament do massive amounts of DPS. So it definitely could work, but if Empire at any one point fall behind, I think the innate teamfight power coming out from 4 Clovers is going to be really difficult for them to manage. We'll just have to wait and see. When Lycan's ahead, he's one of the scariest heroes in Dota. You're just going to lose all of your structures like that. But if you're behind, he's a bit of a kitten.
Well, 4 Clovers, they are a game ahead. They're going to give Bambo the Darkseer instead of Nikwa. Nikwa's going to be playing the Viper. Saxa's on the Avenging Spirit. Podcat is on his Gyrocopter. EGM is going to be playing the Spirit Breaker, and it seems like they may be running into Empire right now. Level 1 Man Brawl? I don't know if you want a Man Brawl up against a Viper and a Gyrocopter. It seems risky.
Oh, yeah. Well, to introduce the other side of the map, Empire are going to be on the dire side. Funnock, who won't initiate into that brawl, is going to be playing on the Tusk. They'll have Dance on the Winter Wyvern, Dazzle by No Fear, Resolution on the Queen of Pain, and last but not least, it's Havost himself on the Lycanthrope.
Well, they're going to start the man fight, or at least Resolution will get punched twice. And it looks like that should about be it. No Fear is going to level up, heal level 1, pretty much to be expected across the board. But oh man, this Lycan needs to do really well in lane. And right now, EGM's hanging around kind of the bottom-ish area. But I would expect him to move up and try to apply some pressure. The Lycan does have a decent amount of armor, decent amount of right-click damage. So as far as man fighting with
all
right
eyes on
clicks,
Aloha Dance. Looks like he's angling for a courier snipe.
This is not going to work. The reads.
Know.
And actually, he's now getting pincered in by EGM with, well, Eventual Spirit's going to deliver the rest of the items rest of the way. Now Aloha Dance is like kind of stuck here. They see each other, right? You could, no, maybe they don't.
Oh, they didn't catch eyes on him, so Aloha Dance is going to be fine, but the courier also is going to make his safe trip back to the base after delivering the salve to the mid lane.
Oh, I don't know about this Empire draft, man. I just really don't know about this Lycan. When you pick up these 2 super defensive supports, you really need a lot to go on in your other lanes from your other cores, and that's not really super easy right now. Now here comes EGM and Bambo. This lane is going to start off with just a lot of traded hits, and that's where Dazzle is, I guess, kind of nice going up against 2 melee heroes. Shadow Wave is guaranteed that much more damage, but Havost, he can't really man fight up against this many heroes. He really needs the complete Shadow Waves to land on these heroes if he's going to be, having any chance at winning this lane. And actually getting farm is going to be a struggle. He may have to go to the jungle a lot earlier than he would really like.
Yeah, if it's just the Darkseer, that is a lane that Lycan can manage, especially with the help coming out from the Dazzle, but it's really the combination of the Spirit Breaker and the Darkseer that makes this happen for Force CNL. Well, in the mid lane, Empire also not doing amazingly. Queen of Pain's going to be able to hold her own, but that's about it. Even with a little bit of help from Aloha Dance, what's the Wyvern actually accomplishing by being here?
So far, nothing. Hasn't really absorbed any experience or anything like that. Maybe is going to look for a walking courier snipe from Nikwa. I feel like that's really the only upside that they can have here. Maybe if you wrap around, you get a lot of that burn damage onto that Viper, but more likely than not, Winter Wyvern is not going to find that courier and is therefore just wasting her time being up on that cliff. Here comes the dagger onto Nikwa. They do have the burn and they have the howl. Will Nikwa fall to this one? He does have corrosive skin. It's only 1 point, however. It looks like Resolution Blade Forward will grab first blood on the Viper. Great wraparound there from Aloha Dance. Very, very patient. I think most players, in fact, we were literally just saying, you probably should leave that spot, and he left in style.
Yeah, finding that kill. The power of the double slow of the Shadow Strike plus the Arctic Burn is really strong when you're posting up that aggressively, and I don't think anybody expected anything different coming out from the Viper, but also interesting. Ooh, top lane, charge in, coming out from EGM onto No Fear. A little bit of a tower dive with a heal bomb. They're going to be forced to soak away EGM. He's going to be fine as a salve can stick around in the lane, but Nico actually going to go for the boots, which isn't something we've seen very commonly on your Vipers in the mid lane, this tournament at the very least.
And I think nowadays the Viper build is you just want to go bootless so you could really just bulk up. Namely, get the mech ASAP. It is likely that he's not going to be going for a mech, in which case, going for boost is fine, but I still think going for stats in this lane is just a little bit more desirable, just so you could do that much more damage resolution. I guess boots does help up against the almost exclusive slow/chasing lineup for Empire. Not really many stuns to speak of. So there is that argument that can be made, but I don't know. Nikwa should be getting enough gold that this boots purchase early on isn't really going to be hurting him all that much.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be just fine. Even with that first blood, Force CNL is still doing very well.
Here comes the charge. It is double Ion Shell for a little while. Surge in from Bambo. Havost is going to not get that much damage done from that healing bomb, and now he's going to get the rundown. No bashes, no problem. Havost will get punched in the face, or the back rather. Bambo is going to take a couple tower shots, but it will be a very nice kill for Four Clovers top lane. No Fear has to be very careful. He's completely tapped out of mana. Here comes round 2, baby. There is no Ion Shell, however, on EGM. No Fear doesn't really have many options as far as retreating is concerned. Here comes the Winter Wyvern. Maybe we'll get a kill on EGM if she's lucky. Can she get a double here? Tower post switching focus to Bambo. That's 1 kill. Freaky has a Splinter Blast. There's no creep wave here just yet. Right clicks. There's no mana to escape. There's stick charges. Run away. Splinter Blast will get a kill as Aloha Dance grabs a double kill. Great rotation from the Winter Wyvern.
Suddenly about 1,200 gold on that Winter Wyvern too. Who's the real carry now? Second highest net worth in the game. Although it's only 4 minutes in, that's going to be changing shortly. That's a very fast arcane boost, which is not to be underestimated. That extra bit of pushing power could definitely help the Lycanthrope if he's getting pressured too much by the Bambo as well as EGM duo up here. But the other lane that we haven't talked about a lot, I suppose for good reason, is Phonic down in bottom going against the Gyrocopter at Highcap. The Gyrocopter is going to farm, and there's not much the Phonic can do about it. But mid lane blinking forward, they have the double slow again onto Nikwa, and boots or not, he's going to go down. Although Resolution taking a lot of damage in return. Can't actually get it. Magic Missile will be lethal. 2 points in the Magic Missile will be enough, and maybe a double kill for their support. No. That'll be low. Dance just casually able to walk that one off. Still pretty good for the Venge, not very good for Nikwa.
And that is the Arcane Boots keeping the Aloha Dance Winter Wyvern safe, so it also gives you movement speed. There is that element as well, but I think the real big thing about Winter Wyvern's rotation to the top lane was the fact now she's level 4.5. This was a Winter Wyvern that did absolutely nothing but stand around for the first 2 minutes of the game. Literally did nothing except for stand around, and now is right up to where a support should be. Maybe even you can make the argument a little bit more ahead, since Saxa just reached that 4.5 mark after getting a solo kill's worth of experience from Queen of Pain. So this is the supporting cast of Empire doing quite well for themselves. Even though top lane did die once, Havost is getting a little bit of farm here, and that's almost to be expected, but it is Nico who's definitely having the roughest of times, and still Havost, though he is getting farm, is not super comfortable in this lane. He always has to worry about being dove, and we saw how easy that was, especially if Dazzle, for whatever reason, is going to run low on mana.
These two heroes, the Spirit Breaker and the Darkseer, are just way too tanky. Things have slowed down a little bit, but maybe that'll change once we get higher levels up. Level 6 for these offlaners is going to be very important, but oh, charging mid?
I don't think that's going to work, but sure, why not? Here's a 17%. No.
Oh, not even going to
okay. 0% chance. But they do have a call down, and it will be used on Funnick. One missile will land. Second missile will land on Aloha Dance. Got him. But it looks like that will just about be it. Looks like the 4 Cloves, even though they do have the power of call down, not really going to make any rotations with it. Like, you can't really kill off Queen of Pain with that. Going up towards top means that your bottom lane is going to be completely devoid of heroes. I do think that if they wanted to, they could teleport to the top lane and try to take this tower, try to kill off Havosa, no fear. But you're getting a lot of free farm in this bottom lane as Pycat. Though you do have this power, you might as well sit back and use it when you actually have maxed out Rocket Barrage, maybe +1 item as well.
Yeah, there's no real pressure on the Gyrocopter compared to the Lycanthrope. Even though Lycan goes through the jungle pretty quickly, maybe not as fast. If Pycat commits like calldowns to taking stacks up towards top, Bambo's dropping reasonably low, but not low enough yet. Another charge is going to be deployed onto the Queen of Pain. There is going to be a TP in. They know about this charge. They spied out with the ward. Can they get a turnaround onto EGM? He is going to connect with this charge onto Resolution. They'll throw the snowball his way. EGM is going to take a lot of damage here. Blink forward. Sonic Whip with the top. And that will be lethal. Nico now slowed to a crawl. Right-click damage is going to be there. Although the Resolution Queen of Pain does need to be very careful here. They'll be able to get themselves 2 kills for the team.
That was kind of... I want to say the fact that he was spotted should have been known to 4 Clovers. Like, you charge away from the top lane, you can assume that maybe like there's a wolf scouting around or something like that, or I mean it's not maxed out just yet, but there's a wolf scouting around, or there's a random observer ward in the river or something. That was a very ambitious attempt from the 4 Clovers side, and this is kind of uncharacteristic for them to go that ham. You have them to go ham, but I mean that's kind of suicidal going into tier 1s up against the Queen of Pain, who can't just blink out. You have to burst her down, and you have to get a bash to do so. So, like, the kill to start off with was probably not going to happen. EGM is going to charge back up towards top now, but his bottom lane with Pycat, call down onto Funnick, 1 missile to land, 2nd missile, Rocket Barrage. Funnick is going to go towards Pycat. There's no more Rocket Barrage active. Funnick, will he live through this? He will not, as the Witch Wyvern does come in, slows down Pycat just a touch. The escape route for the Gyrocopter involves running through the Queen of Pain, so Pycat's definitely going to die here. An expensive kill for the 4 Clover side.
Already Resolution is...
On top, Relvos. Shallow Grave will keep him alive for a little while. Wall gets deployed by Bambo. Magic Missile in an instant double. EGM is going to hide in the trees. He'll be fine, as the Wall Illusion's now going to help him take this tower. Maybe not.
Now, we've seen a couple different builds from the Vengeful Spirit in this tournament, but the last one that Saxo went for, as well as this one, is featuring Magic Missile pretty heavily. And that nuke is helping secure a couple extra kills. The kill score right now is very even, 6-7. In favor of Empire, in fact, but 4CNL are still out-farming the enemy when it comes to just the raw CS that they're able to get on the map.
Yeah, when you're going up against the Queen of Pain, getting the additional points of Magic Missile, it is only a 0.1 second increase in stun, but you got to kill her off as fast as possible. Same thing with the Winter Wyvern. It's magic damage, whereas for the Wave, it'll be, I guess, for the most part, physical resolution.
Let's see.
He doesn't have a blink for the 2 seconds. EGM, he doesn't have a Nether Strike, and it looks like Sax is just out of range. Howl is going to be deployed. However, Pycat is here as well. Empire, they're going to blink forward, Scream, Dagger onto Saxo right now. He's going to put himself into the corner, turn around Magic Missile onto Resolution, but Saxo will fall here for sure. Call down will do a lot of damage, charge in onto 2 heroes. Curse on Nikwa is going to do absolutely nothing as EGM's going to wall punch up into the air. He'll die for a double kill for Resolution. Big Splinter Blast right now, throw the shards, isolating Nikwa. However, he does have a lot of heroes are behind him. He's going to get surged out, Sonic Wave over the top. Nikwa on the run, should survive. Pycat are dropping very low. Blink Scream going to get the triple kill for Resolution, delayed, but still triple. Now Pycat being chased down by the dog. Pycat, he'll die in 1 shot. All they need is 1 from the hero, that is. There we go. It's going to be a 4 kill for Empire, and they lose nothing.
Well, Who cares if you're getting out-farmed when you're executing these fights that well? That was really weird from 4CNL. It's one of those situations where they could have gotten out with just losing probably the Venge. I don't know, they stick around, they go for an aggressive charge. They're just not finding the bash luck required. The Spirit Breaker doesn't have his level 6. He's far less reliable going for these ganks right about now. So 4CNL, take one bad fight, and that's all it really takes. Just like that, your Queen of Pain is now well on her way towards her next item, probably going to be going towards Axe. You have the Vlad's up for the Lycanthrope, also opening up options for Roshan later down the line, and in general, just a good pushing item for Empire to transition those fights into tower pushes, which as of yet, they haven't been successful in doing so.
And this is also Empire not really being assertive in how they get these kills. Like, they're definitely following up when there's opportunities, and a couple of wraparounds from Winter Wyvern here and there, but you can't really do that much with the Dazzle Winter Wyvern if you're looking for these kills. For the most part, it's been 4Clovers diving a little bit too deep, going in for charges that they shouldn't be going for in the first place, and that is really what's putting them in a bad enough position so that Empire can just play their responsive game. That really, really gets rid of the weakness of Dazzle and Winter Wyvern as the support duo and really lets heroes like Lycan and Queen of Pain, who are really adept chasers, to hit their stride and do that much more work in those fights. So it is almost as if 4Clovers, they're the ones that are giving these kills away to Empire, not Empire earning these kills from 4Clovers.
I'd even say that's their biggest strength as heroes, just being able to respond after getting dove into. Gyrocopter will get the tier 1 tower destruction up towards top as Bambo will cut the creep wave. Bambo might be in low trouble. They have the Winter's Curse. It is going to be fogged out. Bambo's still trying to run away. Oh, but here's the resolution. Going to drop this, just the stream. And then walk away. They won't be able to secure that Darkseer kill. He'll be fine. And everything is going to be dissolved.
Mechanism call down is still a timing that 4Clovers can hit. It is completed on the Darkseer. This is just a mechanism. Yes, it is going to be completed. And they do have the call down with one swap back onto Aloha Dance. Call down with Rocket Barrage. Will this kill up the dragon? Not quite. Right clicks are going to be doing a lot of damage. The teleportations are coming in as Aloha Dance is going to live a little while longer as No Fear does arrive. Pycat in a little bit of trouble. Resolution does not have enough mana for a Sonic Wave. Will get dropped to the Magic Missile. Mana miscalculation there. Saxa diving for No Fear, grabs the kill. No, Gyrocopter's flat cannon actually, I think, gets it. Now Saxa looking to drive away Aloha Dance. I don't know how the Winter Wyvern lives and no one else does, but it's still a 2-kill for 4Clovers. And Bambo, what the hell are you doing, bro? Get out of the tower range.
He's fine.
Oh, Phonic may not be, though. Charge is coming in. He does have a snowball, so he can dodge it, but he doesn't. Now with the Nether Strike, he's going to get Nether Struck in 2 ways. The Viper Strike and Nether Strike feels bad, man. Viper is going to grab that kill. 3 kills now for 4Clovers, and now their timing is almost being forced upon them.
This is looking pretty good for 4CNL. There probably wasn't enough time for the Tusk to turn for that snowball, and they're just not finding very many good initiations. The Queen of Pain, we saw this from Resolution last game, is blinking in melee range to Pycat. This time it's against a Gyrocopter instead of a Shadow Fiend, but the situation is still the same where Pycat's doing so much DPS if you're that close to him, and it is going to cost Resolution dearly, especially with that slight mana miscalculation. Bottom lane, Wyvern going to Arctic Burn and flying Nico out.
He's going to get jumped. Snowball in, is not going to connect. Phonic has a Lost Punch with the Sonic Wave. Not quite going to do it. Nico, though, will fall eventually. Darkseer arrives, looking for the mechanism heal, but it comes in a little bit too late. In fact, didn't even have it available. Gets on the shards. A little bit of damage here and there, but it's just another nice, easy kill on Nico, who has really been struggling on this Viper. I mean, we got, really big, large amounts of damage coming out from this Gyrocopter. Darkseer has this mechanism. Viper has very little.
In fact, compared to the Vengeful Spirit, they're almost neck and neck when it comes to net worth. This is a combination of the Vengeful Spirit being very farmed and Nico not being very farmed. Sax has a completed drums for the team.
Jeez. Sax Avenge, dudes. I mean, I definitely didn't oversell it last game. He played out of his mind. I didn't expect almost the exact repeat performance. He still has more than the enemy Tusk, which is holding true from last game. The sad thing is that he almost has more than the allied Viper, which is actually pretty bad for 4Clovers, but either way, Drums of Spirit, carry build incoming. I'm sure that's what we're going to see. You don't really need Ghost Scepter as much in this game or anything like that, but still going for Solar Crest, getting Pycat up to the front lines with that, and or Niqua. Seems like Saxa has his game cut out for him. Seems like he might have just a free roll Vengeful Spirit game.
Yeah, would be really nice for him. However, on the Empire's side, they're not doing too bad when it comes to farm either, especially Havost, who's been left alone with some quality time around the Ancients and inside the woods. Now actually almost neck and neck with Pycat when it comes to net worth, just shy of 100 gold behind him.
Now we see this timing push maybe coming into play for 4Clovers. They are perhaps a little bit worried about being split up towards top. They're going to smoke up. They know where everyone Empire is. Well, there's the line that's going to be drawn. I think it's the only possible line that could actually grab anyone, but I don't think Empire are actually going to go that direction. They know that this is the safest position. It's nothing but safe right now. So just chill. I get his double damage rune for a little bit. That smoke is not going to find anyone. They know, Empire, they know where 4 Clovers are, and 4 Clovers know where Empire are, so this smoke is not going to, again, it's just like weird to see them do this.
Yeah, even though they don't see the smoke, they saw the rotation into the lane with a very deep observer ward that was placed down.
EGM though. Dance. Now this is a deep wraparound. They're going to find Funnick at a really bad angle for the Tusk. He's going to vacuum into a charge. That should make it do more damage or something with the momentum, but that is not what Funnick wanted to see. Completely surrounded, off of being completely surrounded by his own allies. Now here comes the shapeshift from Havost. They have a Winter's Curse right now. Aloha Dance looking for it. It's going to land on no one just yet. Winter Blast will be thrown first of all. Havost's ultimate timing out very quickly. Now at half duration, so far has done nothing with it. I mean, Empire, they've lost a Tusk. They still hold control of this tower, so the push isn't really going fantastic for 4 Clovers. But outside of that, Empire now don't really have any ways of defending without the Lycan ultimate. EGM's
going to charge down towards bottom, cancel that one. He was spotted out by a ward, at least gets a TP out from Aloha Dance. This is just such an interesting posturing game from both sides without very many huge engagements, but a tier 1 tower mid is going to be pressured by 4CNL. And probably taken. Let's see. Empire aren't in the greatest of positions to defend here as Resolution's been pushing down the bottom lane. Havost is just farming it up inside the woods. So this is going to be a conceded tier 1 for 4CNL. Not too awful for Empire. They are still getting that farm trade. The other sides of the map.
This is looking kind of like shades of game 1. Maybe not to the same degree, but 4 Clover is definitely in the driver's seat for right now, and Empire farmed up Lycan. I'm not really sure if that's going to necessarily be enough. 4 Clovers do have a couple of great tools up against Lycan. Magic Missile, namely Nether Strike, Charge. All good tools, just stalling him up. Maybe the Viper not really great up against that Wolf, but for right now, it seems like this game is becoming more and more and more of a Havost game. One where he has to get a lot of farm. He has to get a lot done during the duration of a shapeshift, and at the same time, not take any of the stuns. It's a lot to ask from that one hero, and Empire, they're just not getting that much done with anyone else. Like, even Funnick's kind of, his item build disrupting that, going for Mechanism.
Yeah, which I think is a fine choice, but he just doesn't have the Mechanism fast enough compared to the Darkseers, who's been sitting on his mech for about 6 minutes now. Yeah, Funnick probably going to have his about 19 or so. Who knows? It might be longer than that. 4CNL, even though they are behind kills, do feel like they're in the driver's seat, and a lot of it still comes down to the items on the supports. Vengeful Spirit now presumably going for a Glimmer Cape next, whereas you compare to the Dazzle on the enemy side. He has Brown Boots 1. That is absolutely it for him. And
well, Wyvern has Glimmer Cape. That's not bad.
That's at least something. Yeah. But then you also have farm on the Spirit Breaker too, who's pretty darn tanky on EGM. So it does add up eventually.
It's definitely a support battle right now. Like, these supports are going to, I think made or broke English the last game. And it's going to be very similar in this one. Perhaps not to the same extent, but for sure, at least the Vengeful Spirit and the Winter Wyvern being very similarly farmed is going to help them a lot. Havost is going to get charged. He's still shapeshifting though. EGM gets a lucky bash, and Havost is just going to book it. Second shapeshift in a row, used purely defensively, or at least not offensively, let's say. And it will be tier 1 to drop up on top. However, bottom lane is being shoved really, really hard by Clovers. This tier 2 is going to be defended. Sexy Bambo going to try to surge out. There's Winter's Curse. They're going to deploy it onto the Darkseer. He has Guardian Greaves. He'll get a little bit more extra health to get a really nice backing wall, but there's no follow-up, which is unfortunate. Call down is there. A bit more chip damage here and there, but again, no kills. Although they're going to charge in back towards the Aloha Dance. They really want to fight this because Sax and Iqua, they are coming in after all. They're going to get right on top of Resolution, bring down the Queen of Pain super quickly with the Viper Strike. Rocket Barrage is there as well. Resolution won't have a chance to play out. Now another strike onto Havost. They're going to bring down the Wolf. Swap back onto No Fear, one after another. It's a feeding frenzy for 4 Clovers as Funnick is revealed. He's going to snowball out towards EGM. Gets the kill with the Walrus Punch, but now struck with the Viper Poison attack. Looks like it's not enough to capitalize off of. They'll get a 4 for 2. Oh, won't lose Saxa either. Gain the tower. A massive exchange for 4 Clovers.
That was ridiculous. We've seen 4 Clovers do that very often. One of their heroes overextends a little bit. This time around, it's Bambo. Gets cut out. What a surprise. Yeah, who'd have thunk it? But he's going to get cut out, and then they turn around. Really nice target selection coming out from 4CNL. Usually when you're in that situation as a Spirit Breaker, you're going to just go for the first thing. Get the easy kill, try to get out afterwards. But they find the Queen of Pain in the back lines. Resolution wasn't able to get out the Sonic Wave. Hardly did anything inside that fight outside of silencing up the Spirit Breaker, which really didn't have any sort of impact as 4CNL just outrun them. That was really nice, tying up the kill score, 14 to 14. And maybe even more importantly, 4CNL are starting to pick up towers. Tier 2 tower, the first one of the game, is going to fall in the favor of the Radiant side. And Empire running with the Lycanthrope.
Man, if you asked me coming into this event with just the 4 teams here, DreamHack Moscow, who had the best team fight, I would have said Vega for sure. Like, Vega are known for their team fight. They execute perfectly, and it almost seems like Mag has 2 ultimates every single time because he always like uses it really late in the fight, and he still gets it done. 4 Clovers, though, they're making me question that. Like, their team fight has been absolutely on point throughout the entirety of this tournament phase. So many games where they open up with a call down, and Empire, you know, 2, 3, maybe just 1 hero stuck in it, but then everyone 4 Clovers wraps around. And that's really where it comes down to crunch time, where the Empire side, or the enemy side rather, they're completely surrounded by enemies. Can't really do anything at that point, especially when Resolution gets hit with Magic Missile and gets dropped so damn quickly. We have a charge coming in towards mid that will be cancelled. But yeah, 4 Clovers definitely executing their team fights almost to a T. And Bambo's Vacuum Wall, though he did get picked off first, did do a lot of damage to start off that fight.
And it also draws out a Winter's Curse, which is really crucial for Empire's team fight. And then they find a situation where, hey, we can jump to Queen of Pain here. Without Winter's Curse, without Sonic Wave, that's probably just not a 1 team fight for Empire, mostly due to the fact that Lycanthrope can't be Gyrocopter. It's not what it's meant to do inside this draft. It's not the game plan for Empire. But if 4CNL lose their Darkseer, they can still take the engagement. Whereas Empire are a little bit more reliant on having everybody present and ready.
EGM's just charging around, trying to make some people scared, forcing out something, whether it's a TP or a shapeshift. You know, these are not the biggest cooldowns in the world, but these are cooldowns that Empire desperately need to have in order to fight. Pycat completes the Sonic Miasha, also has Helmet Dominator. Killing off this Gyrocopter is going to be damn near impossible, especially since he has a Ogre Frost Mage right behind him. An additional cool armor bonus there.
31 armor.
Is no scoffing matter. Pycat is not going to die to physical damage, so yeah, Lycan, probably don't even waste your time.
And at that point, how do you actually burst him down? You have a nice initial round from the Tusk and the Queen of Pain, but that's just not quite enough, especially when you have maybe a defensive swap to work through them. Guarding Greaves now on the Darkseer also to throw into the mix. It's going to be a really hard sell, and Pykat's going to be able to get multiple rocket barrages off inside these fights, which is a bit terrifying for them. But at the very least, Empire getting some split push pressure on this tier 1 tower bottom. Empire probably know the Resolution is being charged now. He's getting cut off a little bit, but has a team behind him too, also making this rotation. And what's going to happen next? Do you actually go for this charge? Bash from Roshan's not going to be there. EGM is going to end up canceling, and everybody will go home their merry way. Sexy Bambo secures the tower deny on bottom.
Yeah, he used fortification for that deny. It's going to be back up again immediately afterwards. So 4 Clovers don't really expend anything and just deny a little bit of potential gold from the Empire side. It looks like they're going to try to angle for a pickoff into Roshan if they can finagle it that way. Keeping this Ogre Frost Mage alive is actually going to be pretty important to at least mitigate the impact of the Lycan, of Havosis Lycan. Empire, though, they do have a dog in the pit. Pycat may be able to take this without losing any health because of his lifesteal and armor, but Empire do know about this. This is where Sonic Wave, Winter's Curse is going to be pretty substantial.
See if they're going to be able to pull it off. The other fights haven't actually comboed those up nearly as nicely, but they also have a lot of great ways to get visions, like the Weave as well as Ice Shards included. Winter's Curse and EGM snowballing forward. Sonic Wave for pretty much everything. However, they just don't quite have the follow-up. Sonic is going to take a lot of Rocket Barrage. Cold Embrace backing back into Resolution will be able to get the blink out, so at least he's fine. Havosis in the middle of the mix is getting a good amount of damage, but again, just not quite enough. Nether Strike is going to be thrown on the sidelines, trying to chase forward for Resolution with the Urn. Well, TP out by Aloha Dance. The Winter Wyvern is going to survive as this fight gets really, really spread out. Hobos trying to get out towards the right-hand side. Sexy Bambo not going to give chase. And up towards the north, everything slowed down. Gyrocopter is going to fall for 4 Clovers, and the death on the Tusk and the buyback for him was pretty much the end tally.
How the hell does this Ogre Frost Mage get up to the high ground? Snowball in, however, gonna go in. Roshan still alive. Funnick in the middle of everything. It is gonna be Tusk to grab the kill and the Aegis. Huge plays by Funnick as Resolution jumps in. Doesn't have a Sonic Wave, doesn't even need it. Funnick, he's gonna mech himself up. Even if he dies first, it doesn't matter. He's gonna have the double life. Resolution has a blink out, swap to cancel the TP of no fear, but EGM is solo, as is Saxa. They can't escape right now without their lives. EGM should fall to the Queen of Pain. Nikwa now fighting 2v1 up against no fear and Funnick, but Resolution's gonna join the fray. Walrus Punch is there. They're gonna save the Dazzle with the Grave. Nikwa needs some help right now, but it's not going to come in the form of Saxon. Not nearly enough. Pycat's going to arrive, but he gets walled off by the shards. No Fear still survives, and Pycat now is on the run. There is shards available. Will that wall? Seems like it will. Pycat now completely trapped. He's going to go up against a 1v3. Pycat will fall, and Empire take a massive exchange.
Game number 1, we saw 4 Clovers steal the Roshan and steal the Aegis. Game number 2, Empire are going to do the same. Is that the turning point? Is that enough for Empire to be able to win this game? We'll have to find out. I think Ogre Frost managed to get up on that high ground. Still going to be operating as a ward, was bumped back by the shards. But still, Tusk playing out of his mind. I didn't expect him to get the Aegis. I didn't expect him to get the Roshan last hit, but he gets full, which is amazing for Empire. Not only is that a good play inside the pit, the fight immediately after the fact was absolutely stellar. And 4 Clovers lose all sorts of momentum, as now your Lycanthrope has himself almost completed Necrobook 3. Your Queen of Pain almost has her BKB and Orchid. As everything's starting to line up for Empire, it feels like they have a new lease on life.
I mean, the first fight around that Roche pit was a little bit awkward. You throw the Sonic Wave in, you throw the Curse, and it doesn't really do that much damage. Like, pretty much, Sexy Bambo uses his Guardian Greaves, and everything pretty much goes back to normal. The reinitiate after that was one where Pycat was not involved. He just was dead, so he wasn't going to be there. And Empire did find an angle off of the back of that snowball to just make a suicidal play. It could have been really bad for them. Should Funnick not have grabbed that Aegis, would have definitely lost that Tusk beforehand. But for 4 Clovers, their net worth lead, well, there is no more net worth lead. Lycan is now leading the way. Queen of Pain not too far behind him. Empire, they are going to have a lot of direct pushing power, a lot of direct team fight power, and at the very least, this is the Aegis not in the hands of 4 Clovers.
So smoke up towards top. They're going to find Havos. They have the magic missile open up. The rock crush and fall down, massive damage onto him, and the missile connecting. Gyrocopter gets the kill.
It's gone.
Poor guy, it's been blown clean off.
If that's not dead, I don't know what is. Sometimes missiles, man, you gotta get that splatter kill. 17 and 19, 4 Clovers find a really big one. It's on the hero who now has the most net worth, and it's the Gyrocopter and Vengeful Spirit to, of course, cash in on that. But 4 Clovers, they do have a lot of power right now, but it just doesn't seem like it's exactly enough to go straight in for these tier 2s, which is what they really want to be doing at this point during their draft. Like, Pycat is absolutely stacked right now. Niqua is pretty darn taken with the SNY. They have the mechanism. In fact, it's now Guardian Greaves, so they have all their tools, but it just seems like after the last fight, Empire have enough to repel it.
I think one of the biggest things for me going into this game as we progress later is the fact that the support farm is pretty much switched, at least for the Winter Wyvern, who's now working towards a refresh reward. Aloha Dance is pretty close when it comes to net worth of Niqua, who's only 1,000 ahead of the Winter Wyvern. It feels like Viper's impact inside these fights is going to be next to nothing.
It seems like he's pretty much just a big tank, and that's it. And Instead, Josh does increase his threat level to a degree where you can't completely ignore him for last. You have to throw some form of effect on the Viper, maybe have the Lycan chase him down or something like that. But other than that, yeah, Viper isn't really tanky enough, doesn't really have the auras to fear, doesn't hold a mechanism or anything like that, and really just needs to be getting a little bit more farm. It just needs one more item, really, to make that happen. But right now, it seems like Empire, they're going to want to group up. They didn't really grab any items. No, they did, actually. It was Resolution to grab a BKB, so that's going to be the trigger point where they are just going to go ahead and push. Havos also does have that full level 3 Necro book, so taking down towers, if they can get to it, going to take no time at all. But it seems like 4 Clovers, they are going to be defending to the bitter end.
It feels like getting those towers could prove to be a little bit difficult unless they lose somebody beforehand. A double damage Queen of Pain is going to make her way up towards the top lane, but probably not find anything there either. 4 Clovers probably recognize that they've lost a lot of momentum in the last couple minutes in this game. They're going to play things a little bit safe. Grouping up, maybe going for a smoke?
Well, either that or they're all TPing here for no reason, which I sure as hell hope is not the case. There we go, smoke's coming out. Seems like Niqua wants to defend instead. Now this smoke is most likely just going to be running headlong into anyone, if it is going to be running into anyone at all. So that's not exactly ideal for the 4 Clovers side. They are going to go for a minor wraparound. Pycat somewhat baiting. Going to take a dagger for his troubles. Not a big deal. Resolution is going to be charged. He does have a blink for a second. They'll cancel the TP from Funnick and get the stun onto Resolution. The snowball is going to bring him down to the low ground. Funnick doesn't have a blink. He'll get swapped right back into another strike. Funnick will fall. No, maybe they had a chance to get 2, but getting 1 with the smoke egg, not too bad either for 4 Clovers side.
Poor Tusk, it was just collateral damage. They were trying to get the back on Queen, and he was just at the wrong place at the right time. At least if you're rooting for 4 CNL. Niqua's going to take a Shadow Strike in mid, has found himself a little bit of time to farm up, but not enough. This game is really slowed down almost to a crawl. The advantage when it comes to net worth is starting to it slipped back in the favor of 4CL, at least when it comes to momentum going their way. This is one of the first games in a long time, though, where Pycat doesn't have a huge lead over the rest of the heroes on his own team. Pretty much neck and neck with the Darkster, Queen of Pain, Like, and all. He does get a tower tonight. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, 2 Queen of Pain illusions, not enough to compete with the Gyrocopter. Saxon gonna run to Resolution, does throw a missile his way. Charge running through as well, and Saxon doing so much damage to Resolution just by himself. This is support Venge we're talking about, guys. Oh, in the meantime, EGM charged in towards Aloha Dance. Winter's Curse still available, not used just yet. There it is. Gonna hold him in place so that Lycan can tear him apart, but a big vacuum wall in the back lines is going to be doing quite a bit of damage. Force Resolution to get the Grave on. Pycat's gonna give chase, but there's really no angle here. Bambo in the meantime, right on top of No Fear. Gonna throw a magic missile. Snowball's gonna deny that kill, however. And now Bambo's stuck in tower range. He's gonna Guardian Greave up. No Fear is gonna glimmer out. He will survive, but Funnick may not. And he's stuck with a Viper Strike right now. Bambo thinking about going in. Probably shouldn't. It will just be EGM to fall. The Resolution, he has to go all the way back to the base. So 4 Clovers may have a chance to sneak this tower.
Yeah, even though Saxa isn't able to kill the Queen of Pain off there, she's at a low enough HP where she doesn't want to stick around. It is going to get 4CNL a little bit more chip onto this tier 2 tower, but not too much. I'm not sure who actually wins that fight handily. There's no clear victor when it comes to momentum. It really depends on how this next smoke rotation coming out from Empire happens.
Losing the Spirit Breaker sucks, but the 4 Clovers is an acceptable loss. Smoke gank from Empire. It's going to be happening at about a time where Resolution will have another BKB ready to go. So in that regard, perfectly timed, and it looks like it will be running straight towards Nikwa, a hero who doesn't really have that much backup to speak of, and is now completely spotted. So here comes the pain. Blink forward. He's going to not even get silenced. There it is. Snowball arriving. Viper will get punched sky high. That's a dead Viper, and that might just be a push into this tier 2. Havost is going to leave, actually. I thought he was going to maybe consider coming down to this bottom lane as well.
He's just going to drop those wolves up towards top lane and keep on pushing out there as long as he can. 18 to 21. Losing Nikwa again is probably not the biggest deal in the world for 4CNL. They can still fight for sure without their Viper. His team fight contribution is a Viper Strike, but when you're dealing with Lycan, we kind of touched on it lightly earlier. Lycan doesn't care. Blink in, Bambo thinks about going for the vacuum, doesn't find a good angle for it, isn't going to actually commit, didn't have enough backup yet. Charge is coming in, yeah, here's the cavalry. EGM is going to have that charge over towards Resolution, going through No Fear on transit. They'll change target onto the Dazzle. Glimmer Cape is going to be popped. Can they kill him off? Can they cancel his TP with the Walrus Punch? Funnick is going to get Nether struck up. He gives his life so his supports may live. Both of them able to successfully TP.
I've seen that before, man. Charge onto Resolution. Funnick somehow is the one to die. I mean, it is what you got to do as a Tusk, first of all, and as an under-farmed Tusk as well. But yeah, 4 Clovers, at least they get something out of that. And you know, making a decent defense without Nikwa available. Losing Nikwa for those fights isn't really the biggest deal in the world, but they definitely do need Nikwa to stay alive just so we can keep farming. And that's really where that death is going to sting, because he was going to the bottom lane to farm. If you're going to die on the way there, you're obviously not going to get that much cash afterwards. That being said, Empire, they still have a lot of pushing power. They just have to find one good team fight. Really, with a Lycan, that's all it takes. You lose a team fight and your base suddenly is just gone.
And Empire's team fight's going to get so much scarier in just about 500 gold. Winter Wyvern almost has Refresher. That is a nasty amount of farm for any support, let alone a Winter Wyvern.
We see support sometimes getting that much gold, but unable to really translate it into a item that is that impactful. It's like you have the Force Staff and the Glimmer Cape and the Blink Dagger, and good items for sure, but this is the most direct way to use this much gold. It's expensive as hell, and the build-up sucks, but if you can get over that hump, then you're going to be golden as the Winter Wyvern. Double Curse. We already saw Curse was enough time for the Lycan to kill off a Spirit Breaker, and you will still have Shapeshift during that time, so you kill off someone else during another Curse.
It makes positioning so hard for 4CNL inside these engagements. If they get clumped up, Double Curse is just going to destroy them. They'll start the fight off 3 versus 5. If even that, maybe they lose another one on top of it. It's pretty disgusting.
Pycat is going to be getting a little bit more resistant to that threat in the form of a butterfly, it seems. Maybe he'll still get hit with Winter's Curse, but with the armor that he has, which is already a lot in the evasion, Lycan, he can't really kill off this Gyrocopter, I want to say, ever, or at least until he gets an MKB or a Basher or something along those lines. Right now, the Lycan pretty much just working with a Zoo and a BKB, which is pretty standard, but as far as killing off this Gyrocopter, it may not be enough damage, unless Gyrocopter kills off the melee neck unit, in which case, the door is suddenly open. But either way, Hyperstone up on the Viper now. We got Butterfly completed on the Gyrocopter. Another item time that 4 Clovers may be able to abuse, but I don't know, it just seems like a little bit too risky. If both sides just sit back and farm, pretty sure Four Clovers are going to be a little bit happier about that. Empire, once they get this Refresher Orb, should look to make some sort of aggressive play, probably into another life.
I think the Winter Wyvern's still that X factor when it comes to the late game, just having that huge BKB piercing teamfight ultimate and then having 2 of them as that flies out now might allow Empire to scale a little bit better than 4CNL. Who knows? I think it's slightly better for 4CNL, but not by much. But a big pickup also for the Four Clovers is near Darkseer's Scythe device. Blink Scythe as well as the Guardian Greaves gem up for Bambo. They themselves can make an aggressive move, and it looks like they want to do this. This could be very well both of the teams just going in for a head-on collision.
This is a big item for Four Clovers. Sheepstick always is going to be a big item, but for the most part, we've seen them initiate through Spirit Breaker charges or like Fog of War wraparound or something like that. This is an instantaneous way of getting initiation off on someone like a Queen of Pain, who, yes, does have the BKB and a plate mail, so it's kind of difficult to kill off, but is going to still drop very, very quickly unless there's an immediate reaction from the Empire side, which they do have in spades, but it is just so fast and such an effective way of doing it that it might not be in time. Bambo's going to put it in the wall so that no one can easily come in. Havos is going to run into Nikwa, but he's not doing that much damage. Charge now going to come in. It will connect onto Havos, just stall him up. In the meantime, Bambo with his wall is going to keep everyone from advancing. Havos is going to just lay into EGM right now, but not enough damage now. Here comes the call down. Resolution's going to ignore it as he blinks straight in, trying to go for EGM, gets swapped back in. Winter's Curse onto Pycat. Secondary is Winter's Curse being primed. This time onto Nikwa. That's going to be a dead Viper. Pycat also super unhealthy. Will be a double kill for Lord, and Saxa will be focused down now with Bambo. Great charge from EGM, but it's too late. They don't have any damage output. Really nice back here as well, but EGM, he's just trying to go for low ends. He won't even get that. It's 4 down. Bambo's on the run. It might be a 5 for nil as Bambo is going to try to hide in the trees. Blink away. Sneaky teleport out from Bambo. Yet, though he did survive, Empire still take a crushing victory.
We talked a lot about it, but it really was that double Winter's Curse that did it. Throw it on one, throw it on the other.
In such tight quarters as well.
Yeah, it was disgusting. And Empire now have a secondary life for Resolution as they mop up the Aegis of the Immortal. Four Clovers, there's so much momentum after that. I think the double Winter's Curse completely catches them off guard. You don't really get caught in those close quarters if you know that Winter Wyvern has that complete. Of course, they probably have a good idea that he's farming for it, but you just don't expect your Winter Wyvern to ever outfarm a Viper.
Yeah, that's not supposed to happen in a game of Dota. And it's something that can only happen once, really. Other than that, Four Clovers should be more spread out, so that at the very least, if there's going to be 2 Winter's Curses in a fight, I think like most 3 heroes get locked down by it, and that time it was like 1, 2, it was like 6 heroes total getting caught between the 2 curses, and of course Pycat going into his friendly Viper with damage. Oh, it hurts a lot. It hurts a lot, and there's no real way to avoid it. So, except for good positioning. So hopefully for Clovers, they avoid that in the future, but right now the end result is that Empire, they swoop down to the bottom lane, they claim a little bit of a push there, and they still have this Aegis to work with on Resolution.
And a lot of this is happening because the support item progression is kind of stopped dead in its tracks for 4CNL. You have EGM, who has the Bloods, has the Urn, Power Treads, these are fine items to have on Spirit Breaker, Venture Spirit also with the Treads, Drums, fine items, but she's had that Drums for who knows how long. It was very quickly picked up, and they really feel like they're kind of aching for a 4-staff in a lot of these fights to help with their position.
Well, they are going to have a couple of targets in sight right now. Funnick is going to go into his own jungle. I don't think he saw Pycat there, but it will be Vengeful Spirit with an Invis Rune to scout everything out first of all. Havos, he doesn't have Necro units, so they're going to drop the call down onto Resolution. Magic Missile plus charge is incoming. So Magic Missile actually not going to be used just yet. Snowball, in fact, is going to go towards EGM. Walrus Punch as well will be the Spirit Breaker to fall first. Looks like he'll be the only one to fall as well, as everyone else is just going to leave.
I really like that move coming out from Saxa there. Your Spirit Breaker overcommits and you just casually walk away. There's no reason for you to get overzealous and try and fight that for 4CNL. They're playing a lot more bridled than we've seen previously inside the game for Global Esports.
30 seconds, Refresher Orb will be up. Of course, the Aegis has a lot of effective time left on as well, and oh my god, it's a Blink Dagger, double Winter's Curse. Unfortunately, it's not level 3, so, you know, Freaky, get on your game. What the hell are you doing with your life? You need level 3 double Winter's Curse, man, wins you fights, but it will be coming up very shortly. First of all, Tier 2 tower, not going to stand a chance. Second of all, Tier 3 tower, 4 Clovers will all be alive for it. And the area is a lot more spread open, so 4 Clovers positioning you would expect to be a lot better. Yet that being said, Empire has so much more brute force right now. They might be just be able to sneak this tower in and then fall back, if nothing else. It's just going to be pokes and prods for right now, but you could bet that Aloha Dance just looking for a chance, double curse.
And if you finds that opportunity, it could be really bad for him. The good news, the 4CNL do mop up the Necronomicon unit, so you don't have to deal with that little bit of additional pushing power and damage inside these fight. Oh, but they're just slowly chipping this down. Tier 3 towers dropping low resolution. They're thinking about going for the Nether Strike. Charge forward is going to be canceled. Jim getting a little bit far out in front. Missile is going to make a thud. That's about all it is going to be. No follow-up yet, as both teams are just waiting for Empire to fully commit to the high ground and take down this Tier 3. It's not going to take much, but how's the fight going to happen during that?
Resolution Shiva's guard lets him play very similar to a Shadow Fiend, so just sitting and wailing away at the tower. Of course, the Wolves looks like will be able to not get it. EGM gets the deny. Third tower deny of the game, I believe, which is, going to be nice, of course, for 4 Clovers, but given the state of the game, that's not the right button. Given the state of the game, like 4 tower denies, what 4 tower denies? It's still Empire with a very big gold experience lead for one thing, but also in the position to take Raxes off of probably this next wave of creeps. Positioning of 4 Clovers, though, it's as good as it's going to get.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, charging. They're actually going to continue with this one. I don't think so. EGM is going to find himself on the low ground. Nobody's going to commit. They have to deal with their other lanes. Bottom and mid are pushing out. Still, 4 Clovers probably can't chase into it, so Empire are going to casually back up after taking the Tier 3 one way or another. At least it was denied by 4 Clovers. Still,
they may have enough time to push out these waves and then resume a push, take the secondary Tier 2 in the mid lane, but it looks like the fight
is going to be gone in 30 seconds, so I think 4CNL do want to take this engagement.
Well, 4 Clovers, maybe they can time it properly. All eyes. We can keep an eye on the Queen of Pain's Aegis status. That would be great if it actually does come to this fight. This is not where they want to fight because the Winter's Curse in such tight quarters. It's going to destroy 4 Clovers. They're going to go all the way around, probably into an Empire smoke as well. Do they even have one? Yes, they do. And it looks like they'll run head on into each other. These are tight quarters as well. Winter Wyvern loves this shit, man. Oh, they're going to see an Ion Shell pop up. And Aegis will be reclaimed. So most likely, Empire are not going to look for a fight here.
Oh, if they could find a weakness, any sort of opportunity they would, but it looks like they're not going to. Oh, Saxa, don't even breathe. Just a little bit deep behind enemy lines. 4CNL might have a really good opportunity. They're going to charge forward. Resolution pops his BKB, still stunned up by the charge, trying to waste his BKB time as he goes in onto EGM. Resolution, they'll be able to turn around, kill off Spearbreaker, big vacuum back. The follow-up is there with the call down. Is enough to get any of the kills. No Fear's Grave as they munch down another on the sidelines. Winter's Curse onto Bamboo. Winter Wyvern can't get off a secondary curse. A 2-for-2 trade as of now. The Jarcraft is a little bit spread out towards the left-hand side as Viper chases forward for a stupidly fast Lycanthrope. Snowballing in, punching down Pycat. That's going to be the death one. What are probably going to have to pay for this jump in. However, Nico is just not able to do quite enough. Blinking Queen of Pain, slow down from the Shiva's guard. They have the Tusk around the corner too. And Nico, can he get any of these kills? I don't think so. He's going to be able to get out, and it's a big fight for Empire.
The most was taking Viper hits the entire time, and you could barely see the effects of it. Like he doesn't even have that much armor really. With the Guardian Greaves, of course, has a little bit more, but Vlad's and Medallion, which is sometimes armor, this Viper just needs a little bit more damage. He is going for Hyperstone, was attacking pretty quickly, but as far as actual damage output, there was pretty much none to speak of. Pycat getting caught in the middle of everything, was dropped half HP or something like that very early on in the fight. That was also a fight where Empire only had one Winter's Curse deployed, which is of course bad for that particular fight, I suppose, but now good for the next upcoming fight where they will have a double. That was a really, really spread out fight for 4 Clovers. The wall vacuum was pretty good, but the follow-up just wasn't quite there. Gyrocopter needs something like an MKB or a damage item of some sort if he really wants to abuse that that vacuum from Darkseer.
This is really unfortunate for 4CNL, especially the Viper. Now you have an Assault Cuirass for Lycan. He didn't have a huge amount of armor in that last fight, but now he does, up to 29, and that's even without being next to his Guardian Greaves or anything thrown in by the Dazzle too, which is really making a pretty big difference. I think in that last fight, they had a defensive weave on pretty much everybody minus Resolution, but he doesn't really need it. In fact, Resolution almost has 2
Oh, Saxa. He's going to get called with Shiva's Guard. Poison is there as well. Shard, Snowball, dead. Wicked, sick spree for Resolution. No buyback on the Vengeful Spirit. And it will, at the very least, be this tower to fall. We do have a big item pickup power on 4 Clovers. It's this Lotus Orb. Darkseer, if he can return a curse, there is a chance that Winter Wyvern, because of that curse, is not able to get off a second one, because she dies to her allies. Of course, that's the dream scenario, but that's something that the Winter Wyvern has to be very, very scared of. Watch out for that Echo Shell. No Vengeful Spirit. 4 Clovers' damage output drastically decreases. I mean, they do have a Satanic, that's really nice, but it doesn't increase their damage at most. He's going to get embraced as they do Snowball in, running to the blink straight out. Oh, Snowball is going to be returned. That's not good. Who is that? Is it Darkseer? Oh, they're gonna have to get out of here really fast. EGM, he's gonna call in the charge. He's gonna try to charge back, but it's not gonna happen. Bambo, what you doing, man? That wasn't the move. That wasn't the play. The tower now is gonna get chipped down as Havo's gonna shapeshift in and dive in for Neeko. Winter's Curse #1 gonna be deployed. Secondary one, not gonna be used just yet. Lotus Shell will not do that much. Neeko will fall. Bambo now is gonna be the recipient of the second one. Probably gets a really nice vacuum wall. Pycat's damage. I don't think it's going to be enough. It's only Pycat right now fighting. Pick off No Fear. Saxa is going to return to this fight. Havo's gets left behind by the rest of his squad. Tier 3 tower will fall, but no Raxes down just yet. Bambo, he's going to return back to this fight, looking for someone to sheep up. Will not find anyone, it seems. It will be a 2-for-2 exchange. Actually not that bad for 4 Clovers, even after that disastrous initiation attempt from the Lotus Orb.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the big idea there was with the Lotus Shell. I'm sure they saw the snowball, but regardless, even if it wasn't the play for Bambo, even if it wasn't great for EGM, it was a lot of fun to watch, so at least we have that going for us. But yeah, that was a successful hold coming up from 4CNL. They've lost a handful of tier 3 towers, but if they don't get Raxes, I think 4CNL are fine, especially since Pycat gets a lot of money from the last engagement. After just recently buying up the Satanic, has enough for a Demon Head should he want to pick that up. Maybe he just does that now.
Roshan is also going to be up right now, and Havost is not alive. 30 seconds, you don't really want to buy back to try to contest Roshan. It is sometimes what you want to do, but in this situation, 4 Clovers, they may be finished with Roshan by the time you get there, or they may just disengage away from it, in which case you have a Roshan by their hands, and if you die with no buyback, the game might just be over. This is incredibly risky here for Empire, approaching in a 4v5 scenario with only one Winter's Curse. Pycat can solo this Roshan very easily. Bambo, oh, he's down in inventory, that's huge. Oh no, there's a gem. Never mind, not as big, but still, you gotta watch out for the vacuum wall combo. He may just drop the wall exactly the same as he did before, just to prevent Empire from getting in. Charge, canceled by EGM right now. It seems like the Roshan will survive for a little while longer. But now Havost is going to arrive. 4 Clovers, probably it's best for them to call it quits.
They get antsy because of the Dazzle Ultra. Maybe they find an opportunity afterwards. They're going to drop Funnick into the Roshan pit. Tusk is going to blink straight out. Pycat makes his move back into the Roche. What's going to happen next? They only have one Winter's Curse smoking up on the sidelines. Maybe they can find a good one. Neeko is going to be dropped on the low ground, fighting against Resolution. Blink out by the Queen of Pain. Nothing going to happen there. Snowball forward. Oh, Havost is going to pop his BKB. Can he find any kills? EGM is going to be pursued by the Lycanthrope. Nice ice shards. EGM will fall before he's able to get off his ultimate. Called down onto the deck, not going to hit on the much, if anything. Oh, Mohadef just can't find a good Winter's Curse yet. Sonic Wave connects onto a couple. Nice vacuum wall is going to land also on a few heroes, but Saxa's the one to die. The damage from Resolution's insane. Sexy Bambo will drop the Echo Shell, but the Winter's Curse is onto Pycat. No Fear casually able to walk back through. Is the poison damage going to be lethal? It will, but Neeko himself also will fall. Sexy Bambo trying to run away. Empire getting momentum. Triple kill for the Queen of Pain, and now into Roshan pit.
Oh man, I want to say that was a little bit of an early swap there from Saxa. He was so on point throughout this entire game, saving his buddies, getting the kills, but that time, it was still Gyrocopter at about 50% HP. He didn't have Black Hand, he was completely out of mana, so maybe it was the correct move after a wall, just to get the Gyrocopter out and make sure that he survives, but and he was doing so much damage. He was the only one on 4 Clovers to be doing any sort of damage during that last engagement. That was also a fight where Empire used their BKBs super early on. Like, they used their BKBs and actually do a lot with them. So it was a BKB-less fight for the Empire side, yet even after all said and done, 4 Clovers unable to actually focus down and kill off any of the targets. That's where the Snowball, Embrace, and the Grave all come into play. Try to keep these heroes and Empire alive for just a little bit longer. And like I said before, lose a fight up against a Lycan, suddenly your base is going to just disappear. Lycan is not over in mid, he's going towards bottom, and Snowball in, going to Pycat. Look at this tower fall. Havost has the AC, doesn't even use his Necrounus just yet. We have a buyback of the Darks here. It looks like Saxa is swap back to Havost right now, is going to start shapeshifting, gets charged, gets sheepstick, but he's still very fast. Vacuum back into Havost, without the BKB and just run. Now pops his Zoo. Over in the mid lane, creeps are going to be coming in. Tier 3 tower has fallen in all 3 lanes right now for the 4CL side, but they do have everyone alive and ready to go. EGM, gotta be careful of that Necro Book, man. It looks like, again, no Raxes are going to be taken. It's not that bad for 4 Clovers, even though this time they do have to spend buyback. Only on one hero, though.
Yeah, and that buyback was on the Darkseer, who already has pretty much everything that he could expect to have had, or expect to have at this stage in the game. Excuse me. Of course, he'd love to have a Refresher Orb or something along those lines, but that caliber of item would just be too long in coming, and it's probably not going to delay it too much. Well, for CNL, I think the biggest issue for them is that the Pycat is just not enough damage yet. Maybe with the completion of this Demon Edge item, that is going to change things up. We'll just have to wait and see. Is Team Empire going to go again into the bottom lane? The Aegis still has plenty of duration on Havos. They were just waiting for the BKB cooldown, it seems.
Resolution is doing some serious damage right now. Queen of Pain doesn't have a Sheep Stick, doesn't have an Aghanim Scepter. What she does have is a lot of right-click damage. And it is going to be that much better when you're going for the high ground sieges. Havos has his Aegis for a long time, mind you, and he does have his Necrobook again in 25 seconds. So 4 Clovers, they will most likely have to concede range Raxes here. It will eventually die to something, I'm sure. But that's okay for 4 Clovers. They really just have to keep control of their melee Raxes. And I'm kind of surprised they haven't lost any Raxes so far, so it's about time this happens in this game.
Call down is going to be deployed, destroying the creep wave. Also worth noting, opponent has 2 gems, but on top of that, also a Heaven's Halberd. Which is again pretty scary for the Jarcraft. He has no BKB. Sonic Wave only going to clip onto EGM, maybe onto another hero as well, but what's important is the range barracks is going to fall the first of the game, as Empire are going to back off. But still, they're controlling all of the lanes. Retreating as a team, charging forward for No Fear. Maybe he's going to be left behind. Oh, swap back, 4 step away, though No Fear's able to get off the grave. Going into the snowball. Funnick is going pretty deep here onto Saxa. No Fear, Echo Shell is going to be deployed onto EGM. Nice vacuum back. But where's Gyrocopter? It's a little bit too far away to immediately follow up, and it doesn't feel like it's enough. Saxa pops his Ghost Scepter, but eventually will be munched down. Resolution with the double kill. Pycat's fighting inside this wall, kills off the melee Necronomicon unit. Buyback to the Winter Wyvern, wanting to get back into this fight. How are you going to do that? However, you're kind of stuck inside the base, no way to get close. Sexy Bambo chasing forward, doesn't have another vacuum, doesn't have another Hex, is forced to blink out. Funnick could be about returning the initiation. No, he gets a charge onto Pycat, pings it out, but there's nobody else close.
They're approaching. Funnick, Walrus Plunge is there. Pycat still has the Satanic available. And the Eagle gets hit with another set of shards. The spell's being thrown back and forth, but it doesn't seem like it's really going to result into a full-scale engagement. And Bambo, he's just laying the wall down, and Pycat's just this time never out of position, never in position. You would expect the 4 Clovers. What the hell is Bambo doing? You expect 4 Clovers to be able to drop the vacuum wall, immediately do the call down, and then Pycat just lets loose like this. Exactly like this. Calling out to both. And then second best is going to land after everyone else. Funnick taking a lot of heat. Already used a snowball. However, he's just not dying right now because the evasion Nikwa not doing enough damage output. They will eventually kill off the touch, but Pycat, he doesn't have any mana. Now the curse on EGM. With the blast is there as well. Freaky does have another curse if he needs it. If he needs it, but will finally lose his Aegis. But the Divine Rapier picked up on the Gyrocopter. The Doctor is in, and he has full Black Cannon charges. But will it be enough? He needs to swap out soon because he's just not doing enough. There's the curse. Saxon's not going to have to like it. He's still alive. He's still alive for a little while longer. He will get out, but no, he will get the drop. The Resolution's down over the Doctor. He's going to get a brace for a little while longer. Swap back onto Aloha Dances. They do have another Magic Missile. Resolution, though, is going to turn and fight everyone. EGM charges through, but it's not going to be enough. Not for Resolution. It's going to be a triple kill. That's GG. This game, bro, this series, it's gonna kill me. It's gonna kill me, but it is going to be Empire tying it up 1 game apiece. 4 Clovers, by the end of it, just seemed like they were on different wavelengths.
Yeah, it really did. They weren't able to ride the momentum from the early game. It felt like the first half was going pretty well for 4 Clovers, but a big issue this game was that Nikwa wasn't able to do anything. A lot of these fights tended to be 4v5, even if on paper they had everybody there, whereas you look at Empire and everybody was operating at a high level of efficiency. Even though the Dazzle didn't have items, the Shallow Graves were good. Winter Wyvern finds a ridiculous amount of farm, and that first fight with the Refresher, as well as the Aegis Steel coming out from Funnick, the real big plays coming out in this game. Team Empire going to tie up the series 1-1. We're down to a best of 3.
Guys, it is going to be a clean best of 3 if you want to think of it like that, or just game 3 in the best of 5. I'm Mike Lewis, I'm joined by Grandis V. We're going to send it back down to the couches and see what they have to say about this really long, excruciating game.
Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Stadium Live. This is the DreamHack Moscow Finals. That was game 2 in the book, and now the series is tied at 1 apiece. Of course, I'm Luminous, joined by the expert panel. We got Gods, and no, we don't have Gods. He's gone. We got Winter, and we got Sev. What? Two. All right, so that was a pretty roller coaster of a game here. Sev, since you've been watching the game, fill me in, give me the general breakdown. What happened in the game?
Felt like a bit of an outdraft from the beginning. The last pick Lycan top lane was against that Spirit Breaker Dazzle dual lane, or Spirit Breaker Darkseer dual lane, and it was a really wise decision from Empire to roam Aloha Dance because even with the Wyvern there, Dazzle, Lycan, Wyvern could not contest that dual lane. So they roamed Aloha Dance. Here's that first kill with him, actually. And they were able to net a bunch of kills on Nikla, pretty much keep him down all game long, and net an advantage. Even though mid-game looked good for 4CL, Funnick made that play at the Roche pit, and it pretty much seemed over from there.
So what made that comeback possible for Lycan? Because for the most part, he got dumpstered in lane, for the lack of better words.
Yeah, but it was the power curve, right? Empire's lineup into the late game are much more powerful. They had refresher on the Wyvern, and they were able to take multiple Roshans. I think Viper, when you have a Viper type of draft, you sort of have to do a lot of damage in the early game. I think when we were watching, we mentioned at some point, I mentioned at some point, the lead that 4CL had was not big enough. I think it was like 14 apiece, the score. And I was like talking about, they are actually not in a desired position with their lineup. They were 4K goal ahead, but I felt that they needed to be at the very least at that position, maybe 7,500 goal lead or at least 7K goal lead. That's how I felt in the game. They didn't. I think it's mostly because the Viper got shut down very badly in the start, thanks to the Wyvern.
Yeah, Viper not exactly the fastest farming hero in the mid game. You really need to start ahead, and he never really got that start. What about the way that Lycan played? Most team fights he kind of just ran in, basically split the team in half, and I think that really helped out Wyvern dropping his ultimate because 2-3 heroes isolate one fight, one Winter Skirts catches them all, and then they kill each other, and then the rest of the fight joins them, and then you got the reverse curse on the other two. Was Lycan the hero that made this comeback possible, or do you think you could have had a different hero there, Winter?
They definitely could have had another hero. We were talking about a few options there, but overall I felt like there was no one hero. The thing is, there was no one hero that was like the clear option. We all felt that Huskar should have been the fourth pick with their lineup, and what 4CL had was not good versus Huskar, but they chose to go for Wyvern and waited for one more pick before they could decide, and 4CL just banned like the Huskar right away. There was Spectre, but Spectre would still have a very tough time.
You know the hero they were thinking? I actually peeked over the computer as I ran to the restroom earlier. They were hovering over Wyvern and Tiny, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that's a hero that Resolution was thinking about at that time. I'm not sure if Tiny would have made a draft a little bit better, but...
I mean, Tiny is still a melee hero, but I guess your laning phase is better since you have Nuke compared to a Lycan, which doesn't have much. So overall, I felt like whatever they pick, it's going to be up to 4CL to make mistakes during the early game, because with 4CL's lineup, they are going to dominate the laning phase into the mid game and secure themselves a sizable advantage, but they did not execute it very well that game.
Now, what are some of the things that you thought 4CL did good, Seth, that they need to take to game 3, because this is looking like we're going to maybe go to game 4, definitely go to game 4, maybe even go to game 5.
I mean, strategically, I think their draft was sound. I think they laned properly. I think perhaps they just trusted mid a little bit too much. They didn't give him enough attention when Aloha Dance was rotating around. And I mean, you don't expect a Wyvern to get a kill on mid and then roam top lane and get a double kill and have a refresher and be just as farmed as your mid lane Viper.
That's true, but at the same time, Aloha Dance was missing off the map for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And when the creep goes over to the enemy like high ground and mid lane, I think at that point there's nowhere else the Wyvern could have ran. It's either he's sniping the courier or he's trying to gank you. Those are the only two options.
He could be stacking.
Yeah, but the moment he died, like it was so long and the creep was so far up. So even if the Wyvern was stacking, you have to anticipate the Wyvern after stacking will come back to the lane, right? So even if you do that, if you calculate that he's stacking, you still need to back off after that, because the Wyvern would most likely, after stacking, return to mid lane to try and gank you again.
Okay.
So regardless, he had to play safe.
Here's another option. You did very well against a Lycan early on. You get level 3 on Spirit Breaker, level 2 on Spirit Breaker, you put an Iron Shell on him and just have him charge mid. Is that a possible play for them?
That is also a possible play.
I think that would have definitely alleviated some pressure off the Viper and allow him to do something.
Yeah, but then it's up to the teams to communicate that, oh, I can't go out now. It's either I go to the jungle, I just stay safe, or you send help. Those are the things that you need to do instead of just, I can't go out, I'm not going to jungle, you're not going to come and help me, and I'm just standing there, and he dies.
Yeah. And even though there was no big team fight around that moment, you thought the lack of farm on the Viper was what eventually was the Achilles heel for 4CL. Okay. Well, now it's a best of 3 series. Empire has 4Clover has the first pick now in the next game.
Yep.
Yeah, so drafting advantage going back to them. We still haven't seen a Tiny yet. I'm personally somewhat surprised. Are you?
Like I mentioned, without the Bane, the mid Tiny doesn't feel as strong on the Wiz. These are the 2 key heroes that makes Tiny really, really strong. Even though we discussed about the possibility that Tiny is a standalone pick, but overall, the games that we saw Tiny did very well. He got a very good start from the laning phase thanks to either the Wiz or the Bane.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 key heroes.
Doesn't seem like Empire runs it ever without the Bane. I mean, the one hero that has been kind of slipping through that they could run the Tiny with is perhaps the Lich, but it's still no setup for the combo. It just ensures that he'll get his levels. So that's a possibility, but it feels like Empire after this game, they're willing to let the Darkseer slip through, which they haven't been prior to this. So I don't know so much that the 4CL drafting advantage is as big as it has been.
The other thing that we are surprised as well was like Empire did not even attempt to pick Darkseer for themselves. Like we are always talking about, 4CL, they won the Darkseer, but Funny can play Darkseer.
Yeah.
So as much as you maybe feel some other hero is better, but it also works as a deny pick, even though there's something better, but 4CL won't go for that pick for that position, and whereas they want a Darkseer, so sometimes it's maybe even better to not go for your number 1 desired pick, but you go for a pick where it not only gets you a hero that will get the job done, but it will deny the other team their hero.
And if you assume that they're not worried about the Viper anymore, they can both pick the Darkseer, ban out the SF, ban out the IO, and then what does 4CL have in that first phase? It feels like they're limited.
Well, that was definitely a hell of a game 2. Game 3 is coming up next. Although I think we're gonna get a quick commercial break, and there's some cosplay show coming up, so I'm definitely gonna keep my eyes open for that. So let's take a quick break now. Cosplay.